writing the definition of building blocks of XML. So giving the definition, or what we can say, defining the tags of XML by using DTD and XSD. Okay, already we have seen how to write the definition for element, attribute, entities using DTD and using XSD, and we discussed the differences between DTD and XSD, document type definition and XML schema definition. What are the differences between these two? Then which one is preferable? Then which one have advantages in the real time? Which one is used? So everything we completed. Okay. Then next, one more technology. One validator is required, a parser is required for accessing whatever the information in the XML. Okay, that purpose, and verifying the document, whether the document is valid or well formed document or not. So for that, validators are required, and for adding some information to the XML, and extracting some information from the XML. Okay, that purpose, parsers are required. Parser is going to check the XML document, and at the same time elements can be added. Then whatever the data is there in the element, that data can be retrieved. Okay, that is a parser. Okay, so parser is going to check whether the document is well formed or not. So that can be done by using this parser. And one more is uh, inserting elements into the document, and retrieving the elements from the document or deleting the element from the document. Some operations can be performed by using parser. Okay, so parser, different parsers are there, but in according to your syllabus, two parsers. One is a DOM parser, another one is a SEX parser. DOM stands for document object model. This is one of the parser. XML parser. Parser is a different type of parsers. In if you take compiler design subject, so in that, so parsers are different parsers, so top down parsers, bottom up parsers. That is a different one. Here, this is a different. Okay, this parser for whatever the operations that can be on the XML document. So operations can be, whatever the operations can be performed on the XML document by using this DOM or SEX. Okay, so DOM stands for document object model. Then one more is there. Okay, after this we'll see that is a SEX, simple API for XML. Okay, these two are the popular parsers, so which are used on XML document. So first we'll see DOM. So DOM stands for document object model. Okay. Yes, this ACX and DOM are standards for XML parsers. These two are the XML parsers. Program APIs to read and interpret XML files. These parsers are used to read the content from the XML document and interpreting the XML file. Okay, so DOM is a W3 standard. SAX is a ad hoc standard. So there are various implementations available. So for this, then one more is Java implementations are provided in JAXP, Java API for XML processing. So Java implementations are there. Okay, this SAX and DOM can be implemented in Java. Okay, then this Java implementations are provided in this. So Java API for XML processing. So this Java API for XML processing is included as a package in Java 1.4 onwards. So this is one of the package. So while implementing this SAX and DOM using Java, we should include this, importing this package. Okay, so this package is available from Java 1.4 onwards. Okay, so this package is available separately for Java 1.3. Okay. So unlike many XML technologies, SAX and are relatively easy. Okay, so this is an introduction about this SAX and DOM. These two are the XML parsers. DOM is a W3 standard. SAX is a ADAX standard. You can write it in differences between SAX and DOM also. DOM is a W3 standard. We'll see the differences also, no problem. W3 C standard and SAX is a ADAX standard. Okay, that is a difference. We can say that. Then next one is the differences between SAX and DOM. So first, DOM reads an entire XML document into memory and stores it as a tree data structure. So as I told you that these two parsers are going to read the XML document, read the whatever the content is there in the XML document. Okay, reading. Okay, both read the XML document, but the way of reading is different. Okay, we'll see that. That is a DOM reads the entire XML document into the memory. So whatever, for example, one XML document is there. So now you are using DOM. So using this DOM, if you use this, then whatever the XML, how much data is there in the XML document, that entire document is loaded into the memory. Okay, reads the entire XML document into memory. So entire Excel document is loaded into the memory, and it stores it as a tree data structure. Okay, while storing it into the memory, it will store like a tree data structure. Okay, that is SAX. In case of SAX reads a XML document and sends an event for each element that it encounters. Okay, what you have observed here, DOM reads the entire XML document at a time, but here in SAX, not entire XML document, event by event, part by part, element by element, like that. Okay, not entire XML document, element by element or event by event will be loaded into the memory. After completion of that event, the next one is loaded into the memory, like that. Some part by part will be loaded into the memory. That is a one difference. Okay, so these two are the this is an important difference. Reading entire XML document, reading event by event, sending a event by event to the memory. That is then consequences. DOM provides random access into the XML document. Yes, random access, randomly accessing the element. Okay, that is. Then SAX provides only sequential access to the XML document. Sequential access. Okay, linear access, one by one, like that. DOM is slow and requires huge amount of memory. So why entire document loaded? If XML document is larger, okay, it is difficult to store entire document into the memory. So that's why it require a huge amount of memory. Why entire document at a time storing into the memory, loading entire document at a time. That's why it requires huge amount of memory. So definitely it is slow. So it cannot be used for large XML document. Yes, remember, if XML document size is more, then DOM is not preferable. So why, if you have enough memory, you can use DOM. Okay, to store the large XML document. If you have enough memory, you can use this DOM. If memory is less, not enough, then prefer SAX. So DOM is not suitable. Okay, this is one. And SAX is fast and requires very little memory. Yes, compared to DOM, it is fast and requires very little memory. Why? Element by element or event by event. So with less memory also, this processing can be done. So it can be used for huge documents. Okay, if your XML document is less size, then better to use DOM. And if your document is large, then use ACX. Okay, this makes ACX much more popular for websites. Yes, that's why compared to this DOM, ACX is a more popular for websites, for developing websites. ACX is used. Why? At a time reading, at a time loading, not event by event loading. So it takes less memory. So that's why ACX is preferred. That's why it is more popular for websites. Then some DOM implementations have methods for changing the XML document in memory. Yes, some DOM implementations have methods for changing the XML document in memory. ACX implementations do not have. Okay, this is one more difference. So DOM have advantage compared to ACX. So some DOM implementations have some methods. Some methods are there. Some special methods are there for changing the XML document in memory. So if your document is there in the memory, by using those some special methods, then changing whatever element information can be changed, elements can be modified, modifications can be done by using DOM. But ACX, by using ACX, that cannot be done. So ACX implementations do not. So whatever changing, okay, that is one difference you can observe. So these are the differences between ACX and DOM. Okay, this is also one of the important question, like DTD, differences between DTD and XSD. This one is another question, differences between DOM and SAX. Okay, you have to explain it like a table format. Okay, while writing the answer, you write like a what table. Okay, so these are the differences. Introduction part are completed. Then directly we'll see the DOM. Then how the DOM implemented in Java. We'll see that simple DOM program. Okay, this is a one program. This program is adapted from code notes for XML by George Bill page 28. Okay, this is already taken from. So these are the packages. These packages are compulsory. javax.xml.parsers.star, import org.w3c.dvm.star. Okay, these two are the minimum. These packages are compulsory. So the implementation will be like this: public class, second DOM, or first whatever the class name, then public static void main. You know that the try. So in the try, whatever the code, whatever you want, main part of the program goes here. Then the cache. Okay, this is for exception handling purpose. Okay, try cache. Okay, this is a syntax for implementing DOM. Okay, first we need to create a DOM parser called document builder. Yes, here first we need to create a DOM parser. DOM parser is required, that is called a document builder. One object is required to create that. Next, the parser is created. Parser is created not by a constructor but by calling a static factory method, not by constructor. Okay, we can use constructors also, but here this parser is created by calling a static method, that is a factory method, not by a constructor. Okay, so this is a common technique in advanced programming. The use of factory method makes it easier if you later switch to a different parser. Okay, this method is used for switching a parser like this. So document builder factory equal to document builder factory dot new instance. Okay, here one factory object is required to create factory object. Okay, then document builder object is required. One more builder object is required with the help of factory object, factory dot new document builder. Okay, these two are the compulsory statement. These objects are required to create. So factory builder. So if you want to create a builder object, first factory object is required. So that's why create a factory object. Okay, these two for creating parser. Next step is load the XML. Yes, creating build what creating parser completed by using this by using these two statements. Okay, parser is created. Now next step, what is load the XML file XML. So for example, XML file is hello.xml. Here simple XML document it is. Just to first one is a version display hello world. Okay, this is a XML file hello.xml. Now load this. So for that, what we have to do to read this file in, we add the following line to our program: document object equal to builder. Yes, builder object. Okay, which is created previously. Builder dot parser, first to factory object, then next to builder object, next to document object. So builder dot parse solo dot xml. Okay, using this method, that whatever XML file hello.xml file is loaded. So document contains the entire XML file. So now document is going to contain the entire XML. So according to this DOM, whatever the file, how many statements are there, how many lines are there in the XML, all will be, the entire file will be loaded. So now document contains the entire XML file. So it is a document object model. Yes, this is a document object model. Now this document is going to this object. This document object is going to hold the complete XML. So that's why it is called a document object model. So if you run this from the command line, your XML file should be in the same directory. Okay, so that is then next an ID, if any ID is used. So if you get a Java IO file not found exception, okay, this is properly okay. So why if file is not loaded, so it is there in another directory. Your this DOM in another directory, you will get some errors. Okay, so both should be in the same directory. That is then next, the following code finds the content of the root element. Yes, first of all, root element. So now loading here. First, what creating parser. So for that, factory object is created. Then next, builder object is created. With the help of this first, with the help of factory object, builder object is created. Then with the help of this builder, document is created. So next, after creating the document, next load the document. Okay, while creating this document only. So now document is going to hold the complete XML. Then next, what is required? Reading the whatever the element root element to leaf elements, like that, one by one element reading. So for that, element root equal to document dot get document element. Yes, to hold the root element, this root object is required to create. So with the help of document dot get the document element. Okay, then next node. So root node. The next remaining or the intermediate nodes are simply, we can say that some normal node. So that is a text node. Okay, root node. Then next with the help of this root node, get first child of root node. So that is for creating text node. Okay, system dot out dot text node dot get node value. With the help of this, whatever the value is there in that node, that will be printing. So system dot out dot println text node dot get node value. Okay, get first child. Then next, whatever the value is there in that child, so it printing it on the screen. So this code should be mostly self-explanatory. So we'll get this shortly. Wait. Hello. Okay, so finally, after this system dot out println, so this is a text in that XML that will be printed as output. Okay, this is a simple DOM. So one XML, so this implementation of DOM depends on the XML document. So that depends on the XML document. How many elements are there? That depends on the XML document. Here only one element is there with hello world that text. So that's why it is a simple one. Just a root node creation, one child node creation. Then whatever the value is there in that child node, printing it on the screen. If multiple nodes are there, then that way of writing code is different. Okay, this is a simple. This implementation of DOM depends on the what depends on XML, depends on the XML. Clear? So we'll see that another example also, that complex type of XML. Actually, this implementation of DOM and implementation of SAX are there in your lab. Okay. Then next, reading the tree. So whatever the XML document, that will be loaded into the memory and store it as a tree structure format. Tree structure. Okay, now read the element. You know how to read the element from root node to leaf nodes, from top to bottom approach. Okay, so first the parse method reads the entire XML. Parse method reads the entire XML document and represents it as a tree in memory. For large document, parsing could take a while. If it is a large document, then it takes some time. If you want to interact with your program while it is parsing, you need to parse in a separate thread. Once parsing starts, you cannot interrupt or stop it. Then do not try to access the parse tree until parsing is done. So these are the some restrictions we can say why entire document is loaded into the memory at a time. So that's why we should not disturb. So while parsing, okay, we should not interrupt, we should not stop. Okay, the next XML parse tree may require up to 10 times as much memory as the original XML document. Okay, this parse tree, XML parse tree may require up to 10 times. Okay, so the reading everything, so that is a repeatedly used. If you have a lot of tree manipulation to do, so DOM is much more convenient than SAX. Okay, this manipulation that cannot be done in SAX. So already we have seen that the differences between DOM and SAX. So if you want to manipulate your XML document is required to changes frequently, then use DOM. If you don't have a lot of tree manipulations to do, then consider using SAX instead. If you have a lot of tree manipulations to do, then DOM is convenient than SAX. Okay, this is also one difference we can say. So the structure of DOM tree, the DOM tree is composed of node objects. Node is an interface. So some of the more important sub interfaces are element, attribute, text. So element in the XML document only that consists of element, attributes, some text, right? So for everything, so there is a interface. Okay, node is a interface. Then this element, attribute, text, these all are the sub interfaces. The first element node may have child. So attribute to text nodes or leaf nodes. Element may have child, may have sub elements. Then additional types are document processing instruction, comment entry, C data section, and several other. So these all are the additional types. So these are the important element to attribute to text. These are the common thing. Along with this document processing instruction, comment entry, C data section. These all are the other additional types. Then hence the DOM tree is composed entirely of node objects, but the node objects can be downcast into more specific types as needed. Okay, so here node object is a main important to create. So later we can create element for attribute or text. So operations on the nodes, operations, the result returned by the get node name. Yes, these are the operations. You want to just retrieve the name of the node. So we have a method that is a get node name, and whatever the value is there in that node, you want to retrieve that. Then we have a method that is get node value, and you want to know which type of node it is. Then for that we have a method get node type. Then you want to if attribute is there, you want to retrieve that attribute, get attributes, how many attributes are there for that element, so those can be retrieved. So these are the depends on the subtype of node. So we have this one. So first get node. So here element is going to be there, text is going to be there, attribute is going to be there. These are the sub node sub interfaces. Okay, these all are the methods: get node name, get node value, get node type, get attributes. Okay, first element, for element if you use these methods, get node name, the tag name is returned, then get node value, null is written, no value is not there in that element, and the next get node type, element node, that is element node, get attributes, name mode node map. So these are the, if any attributes are there, those will be retrieved. So for the text, if it is a text, if you use this get node name, text is retrieved. Then get value, the text content whatever that is retrieved. Then type is a text node type. Then get attributes. So there is no any attributes for text. That's why simply null. Then for attributes, get node name, name of the attribute. Then get node value, value of the attribute is retrieved. Then type is attribute node, simple. Then get attributes. In inside attribute there is no any attribute. That's why it returns null. Okay, these are the methods for using this. We can we may have elements, text attributes in the XML document. Okay, by using these methods, this type of information is accessed. So that means these all are the operations. This type of operations can be performed on element, on text, and on attribute. So distinguish in node types. Here easy way to tell what kind of node you are dealing with. So that is a switch node. By using switch node, so you don't know so which type of node is there. So based on this type, automatically that will be switched using this switch case, that type of statement. Okay, case node element node aithe, then this case one will be executed. If it is a text node, then text node will be executed. Depends on the type, you don't know then which one you want to access. Then first of all we should check the type. Based on its type, if it is an element node, then case element node case that is executed. If it is a text node, then text node case is executed. If it is attribute node, then attribute node is executed. If you don't know, in that case. Okay, this is for differentiating the node types. So operations on the node, tree walking operations that return a node. So get parent node, get first child. These all are the different depends on the XML document. We may use this. So get, in the previous example what we have seen. So in that get first child. So that method is used. So because one root element is there. So directly in the root element, directly text is there, hello world. Okay, nothing is there. There is no any more than one element. That's why only simple this get the first child, that method is used. Depends on the document. These all methods are used. Get parent node, get child, first child, get next sibling, get previous sibling, then get last child. So these all are the different methods on node. Test that return a boolean, so has attributes. Yes, it returns true or false. If any attributes are there, it returns true. No attributes, return false. As child node, if true, not false. Okay, so these are the operations on nodes. Then operations for elements, string get to tag name. So element name, that is it returns a name of the tag, that is a name, element name. Then boolean has attribute, so that element have any attributes. So return true if element has in attributes. Get attribute. If attribute is there, then get that attribute. So returns the value of the named attribute. Then boolean has attributes. Yeah, here too. Boolean has attribute. One parameter is there. Here no parameter. So if parameter is there, returns true if this element has named attribute. So this returns true if this element has any attributes. Any attributes here. Here whatever the mentioned the name, that attribute, whatever the mentioned element, that attribute is retrieved. Here whatever name is not mentioned, all the attribute which element have attributes, those will be returned. This method is actually inherited from the node. It returns false if it is applied to a node, then that is not an element. Okay, this is applied if element is not there. If it is not an element, if you apply it, then it return false. Named node map get attributes. So return named node map of all the elements attributes. And this method is actually inherited from node only. Returns null if it is applied to node that is not an element. Same thing like has attributes. Named node map. So node dot get attributes. So operation returns named node map. So because named node maps are used for other kinds of nodes, the contents are treated as a general nodes, not specially and as attributes. Some operations on node named node map or get named item returns attribute with a given name. Then get length returns a number of nodes in this node named node map. Then item returns the index of that item. This operation lets you conveniently step through all the nodes in the named node map. So this Java does not guarantee the order in which nodes are written. There is no any guarantee of ordering of the elements. Okay, this is about named node map. So operations on text. So text is a sub interface of this character data and inherits the following operations: public string get data. So get data through DOM exception. So for retrieving the data, it returns the text content of the text node. Int get length or length of the that text. So substring. So substring of, if you mention, if you give any offset, then the count how many times that is occurring in that, so that will be returned. So return the substring of the text content. So these operations on the text. Next operations on attributes. Get name, so return the name of the attribute. Then get to owner element. So owner element, so this attribute is there in which element, that is written. There returns a element node, this attribute is attached, or null if this attribute is not in use. Get specified returns true if this attribute was explicitly given a value in the original document. Get value, then the value of the attribute that is returned. Okay, so these are the operations. Okay, so far we have what we have seen: the operations on the element, so operations on the text, operations on the attributes. So pre-order traversal, DOM is stored in the memory as a tree. So an easy way to traverse a tree is in pre-order. You know the pre-order, in-order, post-order, like that. Pre-order is used here. You should remember how to do this from your course in data structure. Same thing, you know that pre-order, post-order, in-order. The general form of pre-order traversal is visit the root node, that is a pre-order first root node, then traverse each subtree in order. Okay, so next what what root node, left child, right child, that is a pre-order. In order means first left child, root, right child, then post order left child, right child, root node. Okay, that is, but here pre-order is used, pre-order traversal. So this is a one more simple pre-order print, pre-order print. just to accessing the values from the document. Print node, node dot has child nodes, if any. If the condition is true, then get first child. If the child is not null, then whatever the values are there, those will be retrieved. Then next gets next child, next sibling of that. So like that, first root node, left child, the next sibling of that child. So in that order, that a traversal is done. So finally, what print the node. So after visiting that, so printing the node like this. Okay, this is another XML document. XML document, a novel. So chapter, these are here root element is a novel. Then chapter, these all are the siblings, child nodes of novel. Then chapter number equal to 1. Then chapter number equal to 2. These all are the siblings. Okay, for this, the output will be like this. First node novel null. So three text nodes. Text. So first one is a chapter null, text beginning, then null. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, like that. This type of information will be given as a output. So first of all, here things to think about: what are the numbers? Are all nulls in the right places? All are null values. Here null, nothing is there in the root element. There is no any element. So that's why it is a null. So is there any identification as expected? How could this program be improved? Okay, these are the things to do. Next, additional DOM operations. Set node value. Okay, this is for setting, for manipulation. So far what we have seen, those are for accessing. This for setting. Set node values. Insert before. Okay, this set node value, then inserting before the node. So Java provides a large number of these operations. These operations are not part of the W3C standard. So these operations can be provided by Java only. There is no standardized way to write out a DOM as a XML document. So it is not that hard to write our XML. The previous program is good to start our XML. Okay, so with this, DOM parser completed. DOM parser completed. In this, we have seen the differences between introduction to DOM, then differences between DOM and ACX. Okay, then next to how to the syntax of DOM, implementation of Java. Then what are the objects are required? Okay, that, and reading one simple XML document. Then what are the elements out there? So those will be, and which type of operations can be performed on that. Then while performing the operations, which type of objects, what methods are used while performing operations on the that element or text or attribute. So which methods are used? So those we have seen. Okay, so these methods are used depends on the XML document. If your XML document is simple, then only a few methods are required to use. Then if your XML document is a complex element, have sub elements, then in that case, that way of writing the code will be increased. Okay, that depends on the your XML document complexity. Okay, so DOM not only for reading the contents of XML, it is also for setting some values, modification purpose also DOM can be used. Okay, so you have an experiment, that implementation of DOM in your lab. Okay, we'll see that also. In the next class, I will show that experiment. So if I explain it in a later, then you cannot understand. So now theory part completed. I will show that example. Okay, so with this today I want to stop. Then next in the next class we will see that example. and after that SAX. So one topic is there to complete the second unit. Wait, few seconds. Okay, you can leave.
Sir, 5 people present, sir.
What happened, ma? After completion of attendance, simply you are leaving? Huh? What's the reason?
Net problem, sir.
Then when you joined again, at the end of the class you joined or